We are now live. This meeting of the City of Socorro Civil Service Commission is set to begin. Due to the ongoing threats to public health, the City of Socorro, Texas Council and Commissions will be conducting a virtual meeting, broadcasted by phone and live streaming services from council chambers located at 860 North Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas 79927, to practice social distancing and limit the number of people physically present at one time. There will be no physical access to the location mentioned above. We do ask everyone to silence your electronics to avoid any sound interruptions. No disruptive behavior or outbursts will be tolerated, and violators are subject to call disconnection and possible prosecution. Anyone who has signed up to speak or present will be called upon by the presiding officer to speak during public comment or on their specific agenda item, in accordance with Government Code 551.042. La reunión de la Comisión de Servicio Civil de la Ciudad de Socorro está por empezar. Por el problema de salud pública en curso, el Concilio y las comisiones de la Ciudad de Socorro, Texas, transmitirá su reunión por teléfono y servicios de transmisión en vivo desde la sala del Concilio localizada en 860 North Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas 79927, para practicar el distanciamiento social y limitar el número de personas físicamente presentes. No habrá acceso físico a la ubicación mencionada anteriormente. Les pedimos a todos que silencien su equipo electrónico para evitar interrupciones de sonido. No se va a tolerar ningún tipo de comportamiento perjudicial o revoltoso. Quien no siga estas reglas, su llamada puede ser desconectada y puede ser infraccionado. A quien se haya apuntado para hablar o presentar será anunciado por el oficial conduciendo la reunión para hablar durante los comentarios públicos sobre su tema específico de la agenda, de acuerdo con el código del gobierno 551.042.
Item number 1, call to order. Mr. Miranda,
Here.
it's 6:09. Item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence. Mr. Miranda, would you like to lead us?
Yes, ma'am. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3, establishment of quorum. Alex Miranda,
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear you.
item number 3, establishment of quorum. Alex Miranda,
Yes.
Ruben Garcia,
Here.
Jesse Montelongo,
Mr. Montongo, you are muted. You would need to press *6 to unmute.
Yes. Yes.
Albert Ortiz,
Mr. Ortiz, you are muted. You would need to press *6 to unmute.
Here.
Moving on to item number 4, public comment. We have one speaker for public comment, Jesse Montelongo.
Yes, can I go ahead and speak?
Go ahead, Mr. Montelongo.
Yes, I'd like to thank everybody there and thank you for your time. I'm glad everybody's safe and healthy. I would like to talk on behalf of the chief and the police K-9 handler deployment contract. We used to have an officer named Aguilar. He was great with the K-9 program. I also got the privilege of going to the I was one of the first graduates of the First Citizen Academy. I learned a lot from him. He was an inspiration. We had K-9s in Iraq, and believe me, they didn't just, they're very valuable. They're like a fellow soldier. They will risk their life for you. And I think that it takes a special elite officer to be privileged enough to be in the K-9 program and to have that opportunity. It reflects on the great leadership that we have in the police department and the great police that we have here in Socorro, Texas. We don't have the problems that other places have. The world has changed, but so has Socorro. We have come a long way. We have a lot of work to do, and I think this is a blessing, and I think that we need to retain these type of officers so that they can go elsewhere. And also the accountability and transparency is very, very important.
Mr. Montelongo,
K9 is also your partner for life.
Mr. Montelongo,
you.
your time is up.
Thank you.
Moving on to the consent agenda. Item number 5, excuse absent council members. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to excuse absent council members.
Second.
Alex Miranda,
Yes.
Ruben Garcia, Mr. Garcia,
Aye.
Jesse Montelongo,
Aye.
and Albert Ortiz.
Aye.
Moving on to the regular agenda, discussion and action to approve the K9 handler contract. Do we have a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Civil Service Commission. My name is David Burton. I'm the Chief of Police for the City of Socorro. This contract that you have in front of you does 3 things for us. And it's the first time we've like this as far as contract. It won't be the last that I'm going to come in front of you with, but this is definitely the first. So this does 3 things in the 19 bullet points that are part of the contract. Number 1, it protects the handler. It's a commitment, as Mr. Montelongo was saying earlier, this is a commitment for an officer to make. So this spells out the fact that any type of call-outs, any type of regular duty, or even maintenance will be paid at either the regular pay or time and a half. Actually, the K9 handler is given 30 minutes a day for maintenance, and it specifies that in the contract. The second thing this does is it protects the city's investment. We have changed from a single-purpose K9 to a multi-purpose K9. Before our officer, and that was K9 Officer Aguilar when I first got here, that was a single-purpose narcotics detection dog. We have since changed to a multi-purpose. So multi-purpose meaning that our dog can now not only detect narcotics, but can also do searches for individuals as far as tracking is concerned. It can do apprehension work for us in case we have a combative subject where we can deploy the animal to help us take somebody under control. And it can do evidence searches for us, area evidence searches. So we're getting more bang for the buck, so to speak, when we make this kind of investment. Unfortunately, it's not cheap. These dogs run around $10,000 to $12,000 when we figure in the expenses for the handler as well. And in order to make that type of investment, the city needs to be protected. So this would hold the handler to a 4-year commitment. And the reason why I chose 4 years, it's because it's about half the life of the service life of the K9. Most police K9s work around 8 years before they're retired. We usually get them at the 1 to 2 year mark. So we're looking at a dog that is 9 to 10 years old by the time they're done with their police career. At about the 50% mark, we can retrain an animal if we need to, the police K9, if we need to. So in that case, we would still get 50% of the dog's work life. So we have held the handler to a 4-year commitment. And then the third thing it does is it protects the animal itself, because in the contract, it specifies what abuse of that animal may look like. Whether that is not that I expect that, but I felt that it was important that we put some kind of verbiage in to protect the animal. So any type of neglect, any type of not maintaining the animal, any type of not feeding that animal would count as neglect. And in that case, then it specifies that we would be able to remove the handler from that position. So I think those 3 things are fairly well covered. I don't think, I've already talked to the K9 handler about this and asked for their input. I don't have any issues as far as that's concerned. And then again, we have gone through city legal with it. I know Attorney Kohler's on the line if you'd like to speak to this. But I asked for you to sign this or to approve the signature of this contract. And I'll take any questions, or Attorney Kohler if he wants to take any questions as well.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. No, I just wanted to verify that this has been reviewed by myself, and we've made changes on some of the legal issues, but we believe this is ready to go.
Chief, and I have a couple of questions, well, for lawyer, for city legal, and for the chief. So apparently, it's just going to fall under what we already have in place, or are new policies or regulations going to be amended to what are already in place? Two more questions. Where will they fall under the organizational chart? Are they going to be under a certain task force, or do they have their own division? And can any rank go into for the dog handler, or is it somebody that's already in mind that's going to be trained also as well as with that dog? Because it's a constant training. And I mean, it's a hefty expense, but it's a well worth expense, especially out here for our city, for our citizens, and just in general for just the general public. Those are my questions.
Okay, I think I can answer most of those, and Attorney Kohler can jump in anytime. So you have to be 2 years on the job before you can be looked at for the position of police canine. It will stay at the patrol officer rank, so to speak. And that's because if I made it a supervisor position, supervisors have other things to worry about. Administration, paperwork, span of control, controlling their squads of police officers, responding to calls, et cetera. So in that case, I'm going to leave it at the police officer rank. We do plan on getting another dog. The city of Socorro, if the expansion and money is available, would consist of a canine unit would consist of 2 dogs. They would actually split their time so that one would work evenings and days and late afternoons, and then the other one would work late afternoons into early morning. Because I feel that way we get the majority of the coverage that we need when people are active on the streets, which is when we need the canines out there. So they're going to be their own unit. They're going to be a patrol unit. So ultimately, they will fall under the patrol lieutenant as a standalone.
And then, of course, I'm assuming, and maybe I shouldn't assume, but all these are going to be all amendments, changes to the rules and regs, and then policies and everything else, correct?
So the contract actually stands on its own, own legal language, which is a reason why I sent it to Bruce to look at. Policies and procedures for the canine are operational. They're not. They don't have to do with retention or a reimbursement. That's not in a police manual anywhere that I know of, reimbursing a department. So this is a standalone document for anybody that's a handler, and it's an agreement between the city and the handler.
Okay, that's all I got. Thank you, Chief.
Okay.
Alex Miranda,
Yes.
Ruben Garcia,
Yes.
Jesse Montelongo,
Mr. Montalongo, you are muted. You would need to press *6.
Yes.
Albert Ortiz,
Definitely yes.
Moving on to item number 7, discussion and action regarding request for grievance hearing for Joseph Ortiz. I'm muted. Do we have a motion? Do we have to have a motion?
Second.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Civil Service Commissioners. My name is Carol Candelari, and I'm the Human Resources Director for the City of Socorro. We are requesting a grievance hearings requested by Mr. Joseph Ortiz for an alleged wrongful termination that occurred on March the 3rd, 2021. The request for the hearing is being requested for the upcoming June meeting, which is scheduled for June the 28th on 2021 instead of May 31st, as that is a holiday. We'd like to try and see if we can schedule that between the hours of 5:30 or 6 o'clock, whatever is convenient for the civil service.
What date, what this again, I'm sorry?
Our June meeting for June 28th, 2021, and if we can schedule that between 5:30 and 6 p.m., that would be great.
Oh, yes, definitely. Because something like this, I think, is very important. The quicker, we can take care of it.
I make motion to go ahead and hear the grievance hearing for, Joseph Ortiz.
Second.
On June 28th, Mr. Miranda?
Yes, ma'am, on June 28th, sorry about that.
At what time?
5:30, 6 o'clock. I don't know if I have to give a specific time, but I know, we've altered stuff due to life happening. So, yeah, with an open time frame between the 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Alex Miranda?
Yes.
Ruben Garcia?
Yes.
Jesse Montelongo?
Yes.
And Albert Ortiz?
Yes.
So we move on to item number 8, set agenda for next meeting, which is going to be June 28th at 5:30. And item number 9, adjourn. Do we have a motion?
Yes.
Do we
Make
have
a
a
motion
second?
to adjourn.
Alex Miranda?
Yes.
Ruben Garcia?
Yes.
Jesse Montelongo?
Yes.
And Albert Ortiz?
Yes.
And we adjourn at 6:24.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, 1 team, 1.